Good morning, Patriots. This is Praying Medic. It is Saturday, November 23rd, and this is a special update I've got for you. I made some remarks in my last broadcast about Lindsey Graham being flipped in April of 2018, and I figured I should just do a thread and do a broadcast on that and explain what I meant. In this broadcast, I'm going to explain why I believe Lindsey Graham may prove to be a stealth bomber for President Trump. Okay, I fully acknowledge up front that this is going to sound preposterous to a lot of people, and that's fine. But I believe Lindsey Graham, who seems to be a feckless, worthless, do-nothing senator, is going to prove to be one of the key players in Trump's plan to expose public corruption and prosecute the swamp. Now, there is abundant evidence to convict Lindsey Graham or everything he's been accused of: being inept, ineffective, likes to go on TV shows and be in the spotlight, but doesn't ever seem to do anything. He was definitely a never Trumper, at least he was some time ago. But I think something else is going on that we need to pay attention to. We are in a war where spies and politicians and business tycoons and intelligence gurus are calling the shots. And because of that, nothing is as it seems. If we believe that Trump is a good strategist, he has to have a plan to drain the swamp. And that plan probably isn't obvious to everyone. Just as important as draining the swamp is making the public aware of the severity of corruption in government. So there's two terms that I use. One is the storm, which is a prosecution of corruption. The other is the Great Awakening, where we make the public aware of how bad the corruption is. Trump has to have a plan to present to the public the documents and expert testimony that prove objectively and conclusively just how bad corruption has become. For the first 3 years of his presidency, Trump has been on defense. He's been fending off attacks from the swamp. Adam Schiff's impeachment inquiry is their last opportunity to remove him from office. If they fail, and they will fail, Trump is going to take over and he's going to run his offense, which involves exposing corruption in the swamp and prosecuting these bad actors. The American political system uses open, televised public hearings to expose to the public the problems that are found in government. In the hearings that Adam Schiff has conducted over the last few weeks, they have tried to use private hearings to gather evidence and public hearings to make voters aware of the information that they've found. Now, Pelosi and Schiff succeeded in making the public aware of certain facts, but whether they achieved their goal or not has yet to be determined. I would actually argue that their hearings probably helped Trump more than they hurt him. Democrats have been able to mount an offensive because they gained control of the House in 2018. If they had not gained control of the House in 2018, they wouldn't even be having these hearings. Republicans lost control of the House, but they gained a larger majority in the Senate. They lost never-Trumpers like Jeff Flake, Bob Corker, and John McCain, who died before his term was up. And I do realize we also still have issues like Mitt Romney and Lisa Murkowski and other people who are not on board with the Trump plan. But I think the effect of those people have is going to be neutralized. I also know that Lindsey Graham and John McCain were longtime friends, and they were both never Trumpers. However, on April 30th of 2018, something significant happened. That was when McCain announced he was not going to run for re-election. That same day, April 30th, Lindsey Graham had a sudden change of heart. He tweeted this out: "James Comey, I don't trust him. I think he was part of an effort at the FBI to give Clinton a pass. The way they conducted the investigation was a joke. The thumb was on the scale. The head investigator by the FBI hated Trump and liked Clinton." Okay, that same day, Q posted a link to Lindsey Graham's tweet and said, "No name out now." So that's a reference to no name is John McCain, the fact that he was not going to run for re-election. We have the link to Lindsey Graham's tweet. Q wrote, "We love good singers." So when someone sings, they have flipped. They're cooperating with the good guys. In a criminal investigation, they are providing information on other people. So on April 30th, Lindsey went from being a never-Trumper to a Trump supporter, and he's been a Trump supporter ever since. Now, the Senate. So people were understandably upset when Republicans lost control of the House, but Q posted this the day after the election. This is November 7th, 2018. While the focus was on the House for them, our underlying focus was adding pro-Trump members to the Senate and safely securing a pro-Trump majority. The Senate is worth so much more. The Senate controls judges and cabinet positions without House approval. How many judges has the Senate approved that Trump has nominated? I think we're around 170 right now. Senate Judiciary Committee has direct oversight over the FBI and DOJ, more power than the House. While we had a Senate majority on paper, in reality we never did, nor could we count on bringing investigations to that body until it was safely in our full control. The Senate was always a primary objective. So, lately Q has been posting the Senate was a target. What he's telling us is that during 2018, Trump's people were trying to gain a larger majority in the Senate so they could bring investigations into the Senate and run Trump's plan to expose corruption. All right. In a couple of weeks, Department of Justice Inspector General report on FISA abuse is going to be made public. Average people are going to have an opportunity to see for themselves the kind of criminal activity that the Obama administration engaged in. When the IG report is made public and when Inspector General Horowitz testifies before Senate Judiciary, I think that is going to mark the beginning of the president's offensive plan. Now, people have accused Lindsey Graham of being a worthless senator. He doesn't seem to do anything, but I think it's only because his time has not yet arrived. Graham's greatest value to Trump is his position as chair of Senate Judiciary Committee, which, as Q mentioned, conducts oversight over the DOJ and FBI. Although corruption is widespread through government, what is known right now and what can be made available to the public is the corruption in the FBI and DOJ. Now, corruption in CIA, State Department, and in White House and other agencies, that's going to come, but it's going to start with the FBI and DOJ. Lindsey Graham's role is going to be making the public aware of corruption through the testimony of the witnesses that he calls and the production of documents to his committee. I believe Lindsey Graham has been biding his time, waiting for his turn to be in the limelight. That's going to happen on December 11th when Horowitz testifies. And again, don't forget declass. So we've got thousands of documents that are going to be declassified by Attorney General Barr. Some of those will end up in various committees. Devin Nunes probably already has some. Lindsey Graham is going to get some. Again, more documents for the public to have awareness of. The IG report and declass are helpful to people who are willing to plow through a bunch of documents, but the average person isn't going to read them. They may watch Senate hearings like they have over the last couple of weeks with Adam Schiff doing his impeachment hearings. But they're definitely going to watch the news reports that provide summaries of the hearings on Capitol Hill, right? And now, in addition to what Adam Schiff has been doing, we're going to be seeing news reports about the hearings in Senate Judiciary, chaired by Graham, that have to do with FISA abuse and corruption in the FBI and Department of Justice. Graham, during his hearings, can subpoena former Obama officials. He can subpoena Joe and Hunter Biden and talk about what they know about Ukraine. He could subpoena Rudy Giuliani to testify about corruption regarding Ukraine. Graham's committee could become ground zero for the nuclear bomb that decimates the swamp. Now, if Lindsey Graham does not present a threat to the swamp, why is Joe Biden suddenly attacking and threatening him? When Lindsey Graham said on Hannity that he wrote a letter to Mike Pompeo asking for transcripts and readouts of Biden's phone calls to the Ukrainian president, Yesterday, Joe Biden went on the offensive and attacked him and threatened him. They know that Lindsey Graham now has the potential to expose a lot of corruption. I think he's going to do that, and I think that is why the swamp is getting a little bit freaked out about Lindsey Graham. The Senate was definitely the target. In the Senate, and specifically in the Senate Judiciary Committee, the president is going to begin running his offensive plan to drain the swamp and expose corruption. That is all I have for you on this update. Keep Denise and I in prayer. Keep the president in prayer. Keep Q and the team in prayer. Love you all. Take care. I will catch you on the next broadcast.